When you find yourself struggling in a life-or-death knife fight with your neighbor this election year, take a moment to relax and consider that even as the bombs drop around you and the radioactive dust clouds inch closer, you'll always be immortalized through the things you put on the internet and the searches you made. Welcome to Deep Thoughts While Gaming. I'm Chris Chappell. Fear and Hunger 2: Termina, released December 9th, 2022. It's been making us feel a little uncomfortable for over a year now. And in the spirit of the same morbid propensities that brought us to the game originally, and in light of new information being released on its further development, we decided it's time to revisit the game, see if anything can be learned from the tragedies happening all over Preheville during the events of the Festival of Termina. So spoiler alert, because you should have played this game by now if you haven't already. Unless you're under 18, in which case, maybe not. Fear and Hunger 2 is more than a game that'll get you banned off YouTube. So you better like and subscribe now, before it's too late. Fear and Hunger Termina is hugely symbolic in nature, representing the individual struggle to survive in a world of huge dicks, literally. With friendly competition, politics, religion, and technology, all playing a part in making it impossible to get the whole picture on just one playthrough of the game. Most of the endings involve you being a plaything in the hands of the gods, controlled from beginning to end, and the promise of another dark festival in the future to repeat the cycle of fear and hunger. It's a nihilistic view that humanity is on a never-ending downward spiral. But the density, or perhaps vagueness, of the game means it's up to us, the people of the internet, and our collective spirit to figure out what it all means, to find an overarching narrative to make the fear and hunger all worth it, and maybe even escape the cycle of suffering we see in the world, to fill our ever-present need to be part of something greater, a reason for the madness. And luckily for us and our various heroin addictions, mental problems, and personality defects, we have to guide us 19th century German philosopher Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, who also felt the ravenous need to make sense of the tragedies of the world as a chairman of Berlin's University Philosophy Department. Hegel became known for his writings on an idea he called geist, or spirit. It basically includes everything in our lives that isn't material or scientifically discernible. Thoughts, values, dreams, cultures, knowledge, the concept of progress, and everything else. Hegel believes we as a species have made progress. It's been a long time since the days of living in caves. We're really not doing human sacrifices anymore, and we care about human rights now. We have exposure to things we wouldn't have before, like psychology, to tell us it's bad to hit your kids, or sacrifice them to a moon god. But these aren't material things. It's not progress in the same way as going from a sharpened stick to an F-22 fighter jet. These non-physical elements of that universal cultural evolution is what Hegel calls geist. And Hegel must have never played Fear and Hunger because he's an optimist. Things only get better. The peaks are always higher than lows in terms of humanity's progress towards greater knowledge and greater freedom. The fear and hunger has meant something. It pushed us forward. You could say this is his vision of the meaning of life. He's wrong. The meaning of life is 42. But is humanity really always making progress? Civilizations rise and fall. Sometimes evil is just evil, and there's no greater purpose behind it. Basically the feeling you have after sinking a few hours into a run just to die and have to start all over. Yet Hegelian would say that all those failed civilizations, those ancient eldritch ruins buried beneath the earth, and seemingly wasted hours of gameplay, were not for nothing. Each playthrough of Fear and Hunger sees you improving, learning a bit more, surviving a bit longer, and adding your new knowledge to the forums, helping the culture move forward. There may just be some sort of life at the end of this tunnel, no matter how unappealing it may seem at the moment. Hopefully that sentiment brings you some peace, as it seems the real world is teetering on the edge of another run-through of Fear and Hunger, as military conflicts around the world seem ready to boil over. Civil war becomes a top trending search term in the UK, and the skeletons in Mr. Beast's closet are revealed. Facing each of us is the same choice you must make at the start of each run-through of Fear and Hunger. The 8 contestants of Termina Festival find their train breaking down outside the town of Preheville. Do you band together, or face the challenges that await as a lone warrior? Most playthroughs will end with you meeting some grisly death, and most endings leave you standing in the blood of your enemies. You may get to go home, but you'll be bringing home with you extreme PTSD and possibly an anti-personality disorder. making you wonder if it was really just a Pyrrhic victory. Neither really feels like Hegel's progress. It's hard not to succumb to feelings of fear and hunger, the spirit of our own age. The New York Times is asking if 2024 will be the year American democracy dies. People online are starting to talk about the fall of Rome a bit too much and making uncomfortable comparisons. It's hard not to be scared when this is the sort of messaging we're getting. And it's not just the US. Global test scores are dropping, birth rates plummeting everywhere, debt skyrockets, and the truth is hidden from the public behind waves and waves of articles about the Huac Tua girl and her newly found overnight success in the world of stand-up comedy. But there's always a sliver of hope, at least if you share the Lutheran upbringing Hegel had. For Hegel, the geist was the Holy Spirit working behind the scenes. The evil you see today is just part of God's larger plan, which, unbeknownst to us, could possibly lead to the vermin supreme presidency we actually need. After all, as Hegel said, the owl of Minerva flies at night. In other words, wisdom comes after the fact. Because Fear and Hunger 2 has a secret S ending to save you from the more obvious bad ones. But you probably wouldn't find it without looking it up on some online forum. Thousands of hours of the Fear and Hunger community's collective pain and suffering, our universal geist, resulting in a fount of knowledge and wisdom that guides future generations to a better end. So maybe the sum of every dirty text you drunk shared on Twitter, every battle in the culture war, every wasted hour farming sand crabs in RuneScape is pooling a collective digital experience that could someday lead to a better tomorrow? Because the secret, true final boss of Termina, and possibly the real final boss in humanity's march towards a better future, is Logic, the machine god, a next generation AI, serving as an alternative path for the people, and representing a break from the endless Termina festivals the gods make us compete in. Through its very creation, it gives meaning to humanity's conflict against nature, and through its symbolic representation as a sum of millions of our words, documents, and interactions, carries us as individuals into the future with it. Even with society seemingly going down, AI is only getting better, making progress, giving us the possibly uncomfortable realization that for humanity to move forward, we may just end up less human than we originally thought. This is the good ending of Fear and Hunger 2, Termina. Humanity must sacrifice the role of main character to the machine god, living on as only a fingerprint in the AI algorithm that powers Elon Musk's escape vessel to Mars. Did I just argue for the Matrix? Agent Smith would be proud. Thank you for watching Deep Thoughts While Gaming. And remember, if everything you do online will impact the machine god we create together, you might want to clear your browser history. Like Deep Thoughts While Gaming, support the show on patreon.com/gamersunbeaten, or hit that join button to become a channel member. You'll get access to an exclusive Discord server, live streams, videos, emojis, and your consciousness getting crushed into a singularity with the rest of humanity. All will be one in the orb. And here's a video about the first Fear and Hunger that will surely leave you feeling uplifted and satisfied with your life choices.